Why do you think, in general, Kyle Shanahan's teams are so often injured, at least his Niner teams?
Well, before anybody wants to debate this on us and say, well, what's your premise is wrong. I don't even agree with your premise. Well, you're wrong. Here's the information. This is how the injuries have broken down in the Kyle Shanahan era. 2017, 10th most injured team in the league. 2018, 4th most injured team in the league. 2019, 6th most injured team in the league. 2020, most injured team in the league by a country mile. 2021, 3rd most injured team in the league. So, and if you look at the Rams in that same stretch, 2017, they were the least injured, 2018, 4th least injured, 2019, 10th least injured, 2020, 2nd least injured, and last year, 5th least injured. So the Rams are not getting injured and the 49ers are getting injured. That's a fact.
I didn't realize the Niners were the 3rd most injured team in the league last year.
3rd most. And that was coming off a historic year where they were like hell-bent to this ain't never going down like this again.
Right.
And still 3rd most injured team. So I think it has a little bit to do with practice habits. It also has a little bit to do with the fact that, the 49ers go at it in the preseason and the Rams sit it out. Mm-hmm. And I really think with the extra game and when you're a consistent playoff team and you're going to extend your season and play 20 games, let's say, on your schedule, like the Niners typically do, I would say that it's really important that you take preseason off and show up on week 1 and give away the rust factor. Who cares? Who cares if you're rusty in week 1 or week 2? It's more important that you have your full cast of characters on the field.
That's true. But I mean, I think you got to look at this goes back beyond Kyle Shanahan with the Niners. I mean, this was going back to about 2013, 2014. And there are some people still with the organization that were on the team back then. So I think when it's like an 8-year trend, a 9-year trend, it's got to be everything. And one of the factors is Parag and his scouts that have been there forever really see value in investing in injured players. They think you can, and to a degree, it's smart. I mean, you can get value like the Warriors got Kevon Looney late in the draft because he was injured. But the Niners do this all the time. And to the point where they trade a guy like Buckner, who's never injured, for a guy who like Javon Kinlaw, who had a medical red flag at the combine. And they're like, that's okay. It's no big deal. We'll work it out. When they know they have no track record of working that kind of a thing out in Santa Clara. So I think they kind of, invest in players like this. That's part of the problem.
I think that philosophy has been totally changed. Now they're investing in guys who play college football games, which I think is the smart move.
It doesn't forward.
Yeah, it doesn't assure you of being healthy, but if healthy players stay healthy, hurt players continue to get hurt. That's a belief. That's not a fact by any stretch. I think Trent Baalke looked at it as value. Yeah. He looked at value. Oh my God, the guy tore his ACL and this and that. We'll get him at 3 rounds later. It's when you start when you're so in your draft minutia that the player that you don't want in the 3rd round, you're desperate for in the 5th round. You're so involved in how you've got these guys, ranked and rated that, oh my God, yeah, he's a 3rd round pick, but man, we get him in the 5th because of the ACL. Now we're getting value. Scouts are oftentimes looking for, empirical data that proves that they're getting good value. And, a lot of that empirical data is involved with guys who are getting hurt. And so there's, now they're going the other way, Grant. Now they're trying to get guys who play.
They better, because to me, I almost feel like they haven't valued durability, because what they can do is get a bunch of players who are good when healthy. But then if they get hurt, the Niners can always use injuries as an excuse. Well, our guys were hurt. Well, you invested in injury-prone guys. You can't blame us for going 6-10 this year. Our guys were hurt. Guys are hurt every year. That's a lame excuse. It almost feels like if we win, we get credit. If we lose, we're cool. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's also one other factor is that every team profiles players differently and wants different things. I think the 49ers with the outside zone run, they want offensive linemen that can move. So they prioritize movement and, speed at linebacker. Look how small their linebackers are. They're 215 pounds, the guys that they added this year, 220. That's relatively small. So if you go for smaller, faster guys trying to put the most speed on the field, I think smaller, faster guys are more apt to get hurt.
That's true. And you always hear people say about the Niners, too, that the Niners are one of the more physical teams on the schedule. So you got a combination of small, fast guys being coached to, on offense, don't run out of bounds, get the last hit in, be a yak threat, basically play bigger than you are. And I think you see what happens. I mean, the Niners go through running backs, by the bushel.
They do.
They really do.
They go through and there's a culture where they're flying around. I will say this: when the Niners and Chiefs went to the bowl, they had a breakdown of the fastest teams in the NFL, and the Niners and the Chiefs were the two fastest teams in the NFL. So I just think when you sell out for speed, something's got to give, and in this case, it's probably durability.
And the Niners don't just want speed. They want speed and physicality. They want positionless football, guys who can play running back and wide receiver. I mean, that's guys who get hurt. Yeah. Anyway, Delicioso says I was going to type more, but my arm got fatigue. I know it's an affliction these days. It's really going around.